RPG is one of the most loved video game genres across the world, but for me, I always found it difficult to get into and enjoy, because to be honest, most of them can be pretty boring, like the Ubisoft scum. Because I think that making a good RPG is more difficult than making another type of game. There is bad ones and good ones and really good ones, and in this video I am going to show you my personal 5 favorite RPG games. The first 4 are not ranked, but number 1 is number 1, and I will not include 2 games from one series. Some games are not included in this list because I did not play them or I do not know them. Starting with number 5, The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Talk about one of the best fantasy worlds ever made in the history of mankind. They literally made a mix of the best fantasy world out there, and it was perfect to the last minute detail. From my experience in RPG games, making one with good side quests is the most important thing, and to do so you should have a good world, so the great world writing made good side quests and main quests because of the rich stories this land had to offer. But the gameplay may not be fit for some people. It is a bit glitchy and weird, but the variety of different builds that you can make to fit your personal preferences will fill that hole. Bethesda really exceeded themselves making this game, and there is a lot of video game companies that should learn from them. Number 4. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This game is one of the most games that you can feel while playing it, the love that the people who made it put to create this piece of art. The atmosphere of this game is something to be remembered. The world of this game is so alive. The events that happen in the world of this game, like the ongoing war, is not just something they talk about. It is something you see walking around and seeing buildings crushed, people crying on the death of their loved ones. Every area in this game feels unique with its own rich history and set of characters and stories. And the side quests in this game is maybe the best in the history of video games, and one of the most important elements that add to the atmosphere of this game is the amazing music. There is music that plays in the background at the times of peace and moving around, and the music that plays in the times of action. Every area in this game has its own soundtrack to add to the distinct feeling that every place offers. But also, same as Skyrim, the gameplay of this game may not be your cup of tea, because at first it is just dodging and striking. But when you move along, open new abilities, combat start to become more fun based on the build you choose. There is magic, chemistry, and sword combat. You can play between these elements and make combat your own distinct experience. The Witcher 3 is truly one of the best games to ever exist. Number 3 is Persona 5 Royale.
Nice.
I love the Persona series. I played Persona 3 FAS and Persona 4 Golden, and I love them both, even if Japan RPGs and turn-based combat is not something I usually enjoy. But Persona is just special, and in my opinion, Persona 5 Royale is the best game in the series and one of the best RPGs of all time. But what makes Persona 5 Royale so good is not just the fun gameplay and well-balanced RPG elements. It is the beautiful story and characters. They used a very interesting way to develop characters and get the player to know them, with the social link system, or confidants, which is a set of stories for each party member, and there is also confidants for other people you find across the world. The story of the game is about a rebellion of youth against the injustice of the corrupt world they live in, with well-written characters and good dynamic between the characters. The gameplay can be considered easy, but we cannot deny that this game made me love a genre I once considered boring. The gameplay is really fun, with a lot of personas you acquire using fusion or by negotiating, and a lot of tactics you can apply according to the enemies you encounter. Coming at number 2, BloodBorne. I don't think words can express the love that I have for this game. Sure, it is technically a horror game set in a Victorian area aesthetic with weird looking monsters, strange feeling when moving around, and a Breaking Bad reference. But despite all that, this game is so fun to play, challenging as hell but rewarding also. I'm not going to talk about the story because I wish that you can explain with your own personal artistic view and thoughts. I am lying, I did not understand anything, but that does not mean you won't. The gameplay in this game is really good, with a lot of weapons that you can choose between, and improve their damage or magical abilities, and improve your skill using the weapon. But the atmosphere of this game, even if I did not understand the words, is just unique. There is a mysterious feeling that you have walking around. You are curious to know why these people are doing whatever the hell they are doing, and what adds to the atmosphere is the epicness of the boss fights and their soundtracks. This game is just on a whole other level. Before we continue to number 1, there are some honorable mentions. Nier Automata, a game where you play as an anime android girl with sword killing robots and with a great story and philosophical view. Count me in. Undertale. The only reason this game did not made it to the list is that it is the best in something else other than RPG. Chrono Trigger. I am still playing this game, but this is some really good stuff. Coming at number 1, we have Dark Souls. Here comes the only exception in the list, because Dark Souls and BloodBorne are technically from the same video game series, but I couldn't just leave BloodBorne. For me, the best Soul game and the best RPG game is Dark Souls. To be honest, if we look at it with pure critical view, one of the games in this list is maybe better, but no game in this world has made me feel like Dark Souls did. You want a top gameplay, there is a challenging game with a variety of builds and weapons. There is a beautifully designed world that feels connected. There is a lot of different enemies that are roaming the land. There is one of the best bosses in the history of video games, and there is Night Solaire. But what made Dark Souls on top of this list is not bad. It is a heartwarming and frightening at the same time atmosphere that fills you with determination when you lose, to try again and to do it, and make your heart at peace when getting messed up all the way until you find a beautiful bonfire waiting for you. This game is just so good, and the Soul series is one of the best game series ever made. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and please remember, this is just my personal opinion. No one has to get upset about it.